Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Week in Review extended show with your host, That Girl. So today is October 9th, 2024. At any point in time you're consuming this, I hope you're doing well. So our wires, or Week in Review, for the 30th of September through the 3rd of October, again, 2024. It's titled The Gift of Help. And hopefully when you listen to all these talking points, you'll understand the value of people out there who just have the genuine desire and interest in help, and thus the reason why we do these podcasts. As always, we are in the information business. So, the gift of help. Well, let's start with the 30th of September, which was Monday, and that's our spiritual and social causes discussions. We talked about drugs, tobacco, caffeine, sugar. The book that we are going through is Forces of Habit, Drugs in the Making of the Modern World by David T. Courtwright. It talks about the history of drugs, the origins of sugar and cocoa and different types of controlled substances that we use. Most people don't consider these things as drugs. And it's just interesting seeing from learning the history lessons, the origins of sugar and sugarcane and the plantations to what we're seeing now with meth and cocaine and other very, very strong stimulants. This transitional process and the connecting of the dots, and how do we get from one simple little thing here to the extremes. So that was a really compelling discussion. And I also linked, or I might need to relink, a part 2 video. It was talking about the little three, as he calls it: opium, cocoa, and cannabis. But for this one today, or for our Monday's discussion last week, it was just talking about tobacco, caffeine, and sugar, and the serious effects that it has on people, the ramifications, and why they consider it a drug, the effects it has on the body, the physical, chemical dependencies that it can sometimes potentially create. So the reason why I like to continue doing particular discussions on these specifically with our social causes is, again, figuring out what we've already done in the past, the mistakes we've made, and what we can learn from them, and potentially what we can do to prevent or to reverse some of the things that has happened, some of the damage that's been taking place to people who were just completely unaware. Because some of the things, and it's very important to bring this up, when you talk about the big companies, the manufacturers of these drugs, or the origins, I should say, a lot of the intention was for medicinal benefits and health remedies and cough suppressants, things to help people within the medical field. And then they realized that people were becoming addicted to the substances. So some of the harder drugs, the initial intentions, well, let's hope were altruistic and, something positive. They ended up becoming something quite negative. And society had to step in and to combat the addiction, some extreme consequences. So it's important for us to study our history, understand what's already taken place, what's already been done, and see what works, what doesn't work, why people become addicted, who has a greater propensity or disposition towards addiction, or they call it, in some references, it's a disease. For whatever reason, some people can pick something up and drop it. Other people will have a tendency to become more addictive. It's a mystery. There's lots of reasons and explanations, and I think that we should continue further investigating these topics. So we'll be continuing through the book, again, Forces of Habit, Drugs in the Making of the Modern World, periodically. So check out that podcast, again, from the 30th of September, and kind of make your own conclusions and come up with some ideas and have discussions about it. Very fascinating information. So for our Tuesday, our business and tech talks discussion, I had a little bit of an unconventional message, but I found in the scriptures coming from 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 12 through 32. I would encourage you to read the entire thing in context at your own leisure, but emphasizing specifically on verses 27 through 28. I'll share with you right now. Now you are the body of Christ and members individually, and God has appointed these in the church: first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, administrations, varieties of tongues. So we talk about the body of Christ. We talk about spiritual gifts. Some people are good at edifying and encouraging. Some people are good at preaching or teaching. Some people are called for different things, and different members of the body of Christ is made up by different gifts. And one that I had not considered was the gift of help. And I was paralleling the body of Christ to the workforce, because we've got so many different walks of life, different types of talents, abilities, gifts, and attributes. And it's very important for us to consider how all of us work together within a work setting. And a good leader knows how to utilize their workers to the best of their ability and to find the right place for the right person. And even the ones that are difficult or not good workers, they all have a purpose in their lives. And a lot of times we fail to realize that the people who are most difficult are the people who obviously need the most help, whether they are aware of it or not. They're lacking something, there's a need that needs to be fulfilled. And even if it's just to fine tune you, just to make you a better person, maybe God's calling you to upgrade your walk with Him or something. He's perfecting you and putting you through the refiner's fire for whatever reason. You've been called in that person's life to plant a seed, to be a good example, to show love, unconditional. We don't know the full circumstance or the big story as to why you may be placed with a difficult peer or employee, or I don't know. There's so many reasons. So don't discount anyone for whatever reason that you happen to be working with them. I had a recent experience that I shared in the, there's a blog and there's a podcast. I did the podcast first, but I prefer writing more. I think the writing for me is just stronger than audio. So I wrote a blog as well. I think the blog is more compelling and straight to the point and more concise. But highly encourage you guys to check that out. For me, it was a powerful testimony when someone comes in just at the right of time. The gift of help is often overlooked. I didn't even realize how important that was, and that it was even listed. The gift of help was listed as gifts of the body of Christ. So check out the gift of help that's coming from October 1st for our Business and Tech Talks discussions. So the 2nd of October, which is our Wednesdays, health and well-being discussions with your host, Genesee Nutrition, I brought up the fizzy bubbly alternatives and the infamous Adam Sandler film, You Don't Mess with Zohan. A little bit cringe, not gonna lie, a little bit cringe. But I appreciate there's this drink that he's obsessed with called the fizzy bubbly. I don't remember what it's called, but we love our soda. We love our sugary drinks. I was raised on the average American diet. I grew up drinking soda, and so please don't think that I'm coming here saying that I was so far removed from the average person. I just had to go on my own health and spiritual pilgrimage, and I chose to abstain from sugar. And I had to take my life back into my own hands with faith and dealing with health concerns. So I made a conscious effort to tune into what it was that I felt God was leading me towards for a healthier outcome in my life. So one of the things that I did give up for some time was sugar, and for the most part, most sodas began drinking the carbonated waters and then mixing it with juice. And then now on the market is a lot of alternatives, thankfully. So there's this brand called Olipop, and then there's Poppy, and then there's these Zevia drinks. There's a lot of them out there. What they really encourage, the probiotic or prebiotic sodas, I think they're mostly probiotic, a lot of plant fibers versus sugar. You want like the smallest amount of sugar and a higher amount of plant fiber for your microbiome gut health. This helps as well boost your immune system, and your mental health is also connected to your gut health. Disclaimer, I gotta always put this out here, even though people will probably splice and pick and choose what they want to hear. I have to say, not a doctor, just a local community herbalist, student, personal experience, lots of research, books to back it up. I've taken an online certification course for, a certificate program for herbalism, as well as lots of reading and video watching, lots of sources. Currently taking a nutrition course at the moment. So I have a lot of information and sources to back up this stuff, but I am not a doctor, so always consult your doctor and do your own research, because again, we're just in the business of information and sharing information with you guys. So the fizzy bubbly alternatives, highly encourage you, take a look at the podcast. There's a link to one of the drink companies that I use, that I personally purchase from, the Olipop brand. I also do like the drinking of the kombucha and the live probiotics in that, the fermented kombucha tea. And again, study about microbiome gut health and minimizing sugar. So that is, again, please continue to research it. This is what's worked for me, and we're just here passing along information. You can do with it as you will. I know plenty of people who dismiss everything that I say and would rather take the Western conventional route, which is fine, because this is America and you can do whatever you want, at least where I'm at. So for our Thursday showcase event, I admittedly did not get this post out in time, but it is linked here. I did it this past week. The Zaytunya Mediterranean Cuisine. It's in my community on 7th Street in Hanford, California. Not too far from where I live. Central California Mediterranean food. And the reason why I wanted to wait some time to reveal this one is because, again, with the research and the health and nutrition, often places in my research takes me to the reoccurring subject matter is the Mediterranean diet specifically. And this is why I wanted to do the Wires episode and kind of have a better presentation for it, because most people, I think, well, I shouldn't say most people, within my circle of influence, conversations that I've had, I don't hear too many people talking about it. So I shouldn't say most people. I can't speak for everyone. I just know that the Mediterranean diet, I don't feel is getting enough credit, enough awareness to it. Sorry for the word delays. A little bit tired, fatigued. So brain's not as sharp. A lot of thoughts coming out at the same time, not coming out as clear. So I appreciate those who are very patient with me as I'm trying to get all these ideas out. But the Mediterranean diet is not only for better health outcome, but it's definitely the preventing of Alzheimer's and the mental decline, dementia. It's imperative that you fill your body with as much fresh produce as possible, and just, again, look into the Mediterranean diet. Find Mediterranean cuisine whenever you can, and study the health benefits of these things. I read a book about Alzheimer's a couple years ago, and I need to find the videos from my TikTok and repost them. But he talks frequently about improving the mental capacities and improving memory and reducing the stages of Alzheimer's. And that is, he says again, to the Mediterranean diet. And then also saffron too. I've been studying a lot about saffron, and that also helps with the neurological department in the brain, and just so many benefits to it. So I showcased the Zaytunya Mediterranean cuisine. Excellent food, very, very fresh. And just, I had a lentil soup when I was there. I absolutely loved it. And fresh produce. Personally, very grateful that there is Mediterranean food. It's 129 West 7th Street in Hanford. Beautiful, beautiful decor. The environment, very beautiful. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And I think that's it. So at any point in time you're consuming this content, I can only hope you're doing well. Thank you, as always, for spending your valuable time with us. May God continue to bless you and your family. And as always, God's peace.